Yeah, why don't we look at a case study? So this is a SalesApe customer, active reality. So theory, we've been talking about theory this whole time. Let's actually get into real world example here. So they do a really good job with the blended model, demonstrating the kind of results you can achieve when you prioritize conversion over time saving. So active reality is in the VR fitness and leisure space. Their challenge was that, when a prospect was on their website and filled out a form, their staff was often busy like running a session or something along those lines, cleaning, whatever it could be. And this created an enormous inbound bottleneck, like we talked about before, tons of leads, wasting money on them. Leads were sometimes waiting for hours. They had no quick way to tell which leads are serious about, booking a large corporate event. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. And it wasn't really just about saving time. This is actually a direct hit on the bottom line. So they implemented SalesApe. They trained the AI on past successful conversations. Then they plugged it into their website and in their email channels. And the ROI was pretty quick. Over a 30-day period, they tuned the AI. They refined the responses and some of the qualifying questions. Now, given this is, an open AI backbone, and so it's able to answer questions on its own, but to further refine and further make it personalized is only better. And then if you want to take a look at some of these results here, over 200% sales converted. So tripling their sales from inbound leads has happened because every single lead was just engaged instantly, right? 30% of conversion rate. So there's a really direct measure on the efficiency. The 60-second reply rate, which the first slide would be very proud to see that, right? Because now the reply rate was much faster versus what it was before. And the ROI is you really can't argue with that, 10x. The investment. So if the AI cost $1, the AI made $10 for every dollar spent. So it just really wasn't a minor efficiency gain. This is a fundamental driver of revenue for them. And they expanded. They were able to actually expand. From one to 12 locations, and they didn't have to hire all these different SDRs. They continue to manage the AI SDRs and.
So kind of, I'm starting to think about kind of few software businesses that I know. So like the tiniest software businesses, and they only have account execs. They don't even have SDRs. And actually, account execs, so AEs, they are frequently demos, etc. So when they are in demos, they're not, looking after folks that are on the side, on chat, etc. Or so that's kind of, there are also parallels there. So I'm kind of thinking about the B2B kind of world there as well, where you're doing something, spending time with customers, but you don't have time to spend time with new leads coming in like right now, like hot, sitting there.
I've seen it before in the B2B world as well. Yeah, I mean, you might have a lean team. Maybe somebody, one person's on vacation, one person's traveling to a client, one person's filling out an RFP. The other person is, in a demo and prepping. 3 hours pass, that's going to your competitor. You're done.
But also like very simple things like, when the lunchtime hits. So everybody goes for lunch for an hour. So nobody's around for an hour. But guess what? These don't stop. That's just one example I have for everybody. Guys, what happens when everybody goes for lunch? Do we take lunch different times? So like, I mean, people do want to have lunch together, but then, who's looking after leads? There's leads coming nonstop. So you don't stop, when you just go for lunch. Like, what do you do in that case? Even then, silly examples like that. But it is true. I also think about when somebody goes for lunch or whatever, they go somewhere, like, who's looking after this stuff?
It's interesting. What was that, Frank?
I get really annoyed as a former VP sales right now as a CEO. I get really annoyed, like even like these moments, like for an hour, like there's nobody around. And then I'm asking, so guys, what do you think is happening? Like the people waiting on chat, like who's looking after them? Nobody. I was like, well, don't you think we're losing them?
Yeah, no.
It's
a very common frustration. It's this lunch. It's before 9 a.m. It's during a holiday. It's just so many different things.
Yeah, but the other thing I think that people are not thinking about is it also reduces friction internally. Like there's definitely friction when there's inefficiencies. You're actually reducing these friction moments between different people. Why stuff is not get done, right? You do feel like the business is a lot more efficient when these sort of systems are in play. So again, I used to remember my times back at Google where everything was automated, everything was running. It was super, super efficient. And then I joined another business, which was not very efficient. And there was, a ton of friction between the two humans in sales, stuff like that. So yeah, you just also have you're also able naturally, okay, it's kind of, from a sales standpoint, in your sales, because you get more leads, you're also able to hit your targets, as a rep. You're much easier to, it's much easier for you to hit targets, when you have these systems implemented as well. So it's actually also beneficial for the single rep to ensure that they have these systems in place. It actually benefits them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think it also, it eliminates things like cherry picking and maybe some other things. Maybe I've seen where sometimes an AE has been at a company for a very long time and knows the system better than a newer one, and they know where to get the latest inbound leads from. Where going agentic, if it all goes through the bot and then it just all goes to bot and goes to the agent, and then it all goes into a round robin at once it's qualified, it kind of democratizes things a bit too. So.
Yeah, totally.